The scream echoed through the winter air like a shattering glass. The platform cracked, wood splintering beneath the weight of the wedding crowd. In the chaos, a woman in white, delicate, trembling, and seated in a wheelchair, teetered at the edge of the frozen lake. Her veil fluttered like a ghostly flag as the ice groaned beneath her. For a second, everything froze. And then, a man in a red flannel coat and a German shepherd bolted through the snow. He didn't think. He didn't hesitate. He just ran. Before the guests could react, the man lunged forward, diving into the freezing water with his dog. The icy surface shattered around them. The dog barked sharply, pulling against the current, guiding its owner to the drowning bride. Her pale fingers clung desperately to the broken edge, her white dress tangling in the ice. The man grabbed her, muscles burning from the cold, and together, man and dog dragged her back to solid ground. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of ordinary heroes, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Bright Hearts. Your support helps us keep spreading stories that warm the world one heart at a time. When the paramedics arrived, the man had already wrapped his coat around her. His dog, trembling but alert, rested its head on her lap, sensing her pain. The man didn't stay for thanks or recognition. He simply nodded when the bride's eyes fluttered open, then walked away through the snow, his jeans soaked, his breath shallow, his dog limping beside him. His name was Ethan Cross. Once a firefighter, now a janitor at a small-town elementary school. His days were simple, cleaning hallways, fixing leaky faucets, and raising his 8-year-old daughter, Mia. They lived in a cabin at the edge of the forest, modest and quiet. Life wasn't easy, but Ethan never complained. Every morning before school, he packed Mia's lunch, patted their loyal dog, Shadow, and whispered the same promise. We may not have much, but we have each other. Mia adored Shadow. The German Shepherd wasn't just a pet. He was a retired rescue dog from Ethan's firefighting days. When Ethan lost his wife to cancer, Shadow was the one who kept him going. Together, the three of them built a fragile but peaceful life. 2 weeks after the lake rescue, Ethan came home from his night shift to find a black limousine parked outside his cabin. He frowned, heart thudding. People like him didn't get visitors like that. Mia peeked from behind the curtain, wide-eyed. Dad, are we in trouble? She whispered. From the car emerged a woman, elegant yet humble in a long winter coat. Her hair, once perfectly styled for her wedding, now fell softly around her face. It was Ara Whitmore, the woman he had pulled from the ice. She looked at Ethan with eyes that carried both gratitude and pain. I've been looking for you, she said quietly. You saved my life. Ethan brushed it off, as he always did. Anyone would have done the same. No, Ara replied, her voice trembling. No one else moved. She asked to come inside. Over cups of coffee by the fireplace, she told her story. Ara was the heir to Whitmore Industries, a multi-billion-dollar company her late father built from nothing. But on the day of her wedding, she discovered that her fiancé and her stepbrother had plotted to seize control of the company and her fortune. When she confronted them, things spiraled. She tried to leave the ceremony, and in the chaos, the platform gave way. Tears glistened in her eyes. If you hadn't been there, Ethan, I would have died, and they would have won. Ethan listened quietly, Shadow's head resting on his lap, Mia sitting close. The warmth in the small cabin contrasted sharply with the cold, glittering world Ara came from. She wasn't the kind of woman who belonged in a place like this, and yet, there was something peaceful in her presence. Days turned into weeks. Ara visited often, helping Mia with her homework, cooking meals, and walking Shadow along the snowy trails. She laughed for the first time in months, finding comfort in the simplicity of their lives. Ethan, though cautious, began to see beyond her wealth. She wasn't a billionaire to him. She was just a woman who had lost everything and was trying to start again. But the shadows of her past were not gone. One evening, a black SUV appeared at the end of the road. Ara froze at the window. They found me, she whispered. Her stepbrother's men had tracked her down. Ethan stood, his jaw tightening. He wasn't about to let harm come to the woman or the child who had found peace under his roof. Shadow barked fiercely, standing guard. Ethan told Mia to stay inside, then stepped into the cold. You've got one chance to leave, he warned the men. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly. He was no longer a firefighter, no longer a hero in uniform. Just a single dad with nothing to lose but the family he'd built. The confrontation was brief, but tense. When the police arrived, alerted by Alara's private investigator, the men fled. Ethan was shaken but unhurt. Alara wept, realizing that for the first time, someone had stood up for her not because of her wealth, but because they cared. The next morning, Alara made a decision that would change everything. She told Ethan the truth she had hidden. My fathers will name me the sole owner of Whitmore Industries. But I don't want it not alone. I want to rebuild it, with people who know what real strength looks like. Ethan, I want to fund a community center in your town, named after your wife. A place where single parents, veterans, and children can heal and rebuild their lives. You taught me what kindness means. Ethan was speechless. He looked at Mia, who beamed with pride, and at Shadow, whose tail wagged as if understanding that something good was happening. Spring arrived early that year. Where snow once blanketed the ground, green sprouted with life again. The Cross Hope Center opened its doors 3 months later, a sprawling facility filled with laughter, therapy dogs, art classes, and a small memorial garden. At the ribbon cutting, Alara stood beside Ethan and Mia. Cameras flashed, but Ethan wasn't interested in fame. He just smiled as Mia cut the ribbon with tiny hands, saying, "This is for all the dads who don't give up." When reporters asked Alara why she chose to invest millions in a small mountain town, she said softly, "Because someone once saved me when no one else did. And he didn't even ask my name." Ethan continued his job at the school, though now the children called him Mr. Hero. He didn't feel like one. He just felt grateful. Alara became a part of their lives, not as a billionaire benefactor, but as family. She often joined them for dinner, laughing as Shadow begged for scraps, and Mia told wild stories about school. There were rumors about love blooming between Ethan and Alara, but they never rushed it. They were both healing, both learning that love born of compassion takes time. One quiet evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, Alara looked out over the lake where their story had begun. The ice had melted, the water calm and golden in the light. Ethan stood beside her, his hand resting gently on Shadow's head. "Funny," she whispered. "The place that almost ended my life gave me a new one." Ethan smiled faintly. Sometimes the coldest moments lead to the warmest miracles. Shadow barked once, as if agreeing. Mia ran toward them with a handful of wildflowers, her laughter echoing across the lake. The moment was simple, pure, and filled with everything that truly mattered: love, gratitude, and second chances. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Bright Hearts. Your support helps us keep sharing stories that remind the world that kindness still exists.
I just want to take a moment to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you. Folded hands, your love, support, likes, comments, and subscriptions mean the world to me. Without you, this journey wouldn't be possible. Every view, every share, and every encouraging word keeps me motivated to create more content for you all. I'm truly grateful to have such an amazing community by my side. Let's keep growing together and making this journey even more special. Red Heart.